Hey everybody, welcome to the Deep Dive Show. My name is Mpho. Our goal with this show is to bring you and I in proximity to the people and ideas that will show us that it is possible and it can be done, and eventually help us achieve on our dreams, on our goals. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest. This man graduated from the University of Botswana studying design, industrial in design. He does graphic design, he does web development, he does digital marketing. He's also a programmer. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is the founder and director of Fourth ID. So help me in welcoming today to the show, Mr. Tirelo Gilbert. Welcome to the show, my brother.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Good to have you here, man. It's been a long time coming of me really following your work for many years actually now.
Yeah.
And in fact, I got to know your work by one of my guys here in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one who's really always talking about Fourth ID. Look at what they're doing, because somewhere in 2020 we used to do digital marketing, and we used to talk about it so much. And today he's here to listen on to your story. So off the bat, tell us first where. Let's start with your childhood.
Mm.
Yeah, let's start with your childhood. Where did you grow up and how was that?
Well, I grew up in some different parts of this country. Born in Khanti.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up in Lotlakane, Lakanye.
Hey.
Then I went back home to up north, to Matinge. That's where I finished my standard 7. I did my Form 1 in Denjebuya, that is in Tutume. I did my Form 2 in Makaleng. I did my Form 3 in Denjebuya. I did my Form 4 and 5 in Makonel.
Those are some hard names.
Really? Yeah. And then I came to Gaps, of course, for tertiary.
Yeah.
And then fast forward, here I am.
This is where you are.
Yeah.
So talk to me about you started with this, you did design in Newbie, right? How did you get to choose that? Was it something that you always wanted to do, or this was just a passion that you found along the way?
I think it's a passion that I found along the way. Mm-hmm. You know, I think a lot of us, or a lot of tertiary students, really find themselves in tertiary, but they end up finding themselves in a course that probably they didn't know much about, you know, which was my case. And then, but I had to see what to do with what I have at that moment. So it's a passion that developed from just looking at where I was and saying, I have to make this work.
Okay. So where did this start? In art, D&T, or?
I did art in junior school. Yeah, that's basically it.
Where it started?
Yeah.
Okay. So what was that big moment for you when you're like, you know what, I think I might be good at this, or it was just something you enjoyed doing?
I would say there's a lot to talk about, you know. There's a lot to talk about, especially when it comes to the formation of the business or the company. We started this company while we were still in Newbie, doing our final year. So what we realized is, look, we have the skill. Like you mentioned, I'm the co-founder. I have 2 other guys that I'm representing here. So we realized we have the skill. Why not form a business out of this? You know, because we looked at a lot of challenges that obviously graduates have locally, and we felt that it would really make sense if we started something of our own and make sure that we grow it from there. So, like I said, as a student, you always have something that you do for your colleagues, for your family members, someone outside, in exchange for cash. And then we realized, you know what, this is probably not a bad idea. We can actually do this and get paid out of it. Why not then commercialize it at a large scale and really make a bigger business out of it? So that's how it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So a lot of people that I've interacted with, especially that are within that space, within the space of design.
Yeah.
who do logos, who do flyers, who do this. A lot of them do talk about being exploited in the beginning.
True.
Tirele taidenyana man, tirele logonya, that kind of thing. Where people just want something quickly, but they don't realize that this is a craft that you have to hone in, and this is something that you have to develop over years.
True.
How were you able to work around that?
Look, everyone at some point is going to be exploited. That we can't ignore. But these are some of the things that unfortunately we had to learn while we are already in the business. We are building as we are selling. We did a few courses, of course, in business management and stuff like that. But trust me, they were not enough. You are taking them as electives or GECs. But the serious lessons, the deep lessons, you get to learn them on the ground.
For sure.
That's when you now come up with some strategies or some policies that will help you to avoid such. We've been exploited, man. We have been there. But as we grow, we try to, like I said, put up policies that will avoid such situations. But
so what are some of those, if you were to just...
Of course, the payment deposit, of course, not delivering the work before the final payment, and a whole lot of policies that a business can come up in order to...
Nice. So you talked about you starting the business with 3 guys. I get it. In Newbie. And you are the director.
Yes.
I'm thinking about this as how were you able to split your roles? Because I think in the beginning, when you guys are just getting work, maybe you are doing basically the same thing. I don't imagine you're doing the same thing today. How are you able to split your roles and you become the director? I mean, if you're both guys...
So actually, we are all directors. I'm the managing director. There's a creative director, and then there's someone who's doing marketing and whatnot. So how it happens is, like I said, we're building as we're sailing, right? I remember when we started, we didn't even know who has the skill to do what, right? There's a job coming in, we all try it. There's something else, there's a meeting, we all go, But when you are growing, you get to realize that there are many departments that are needed to run a business, right? You need someone who will be handling clients, for example. You need someone who will be executing the design. You need someone who will attend to meetings, And so as the business was growing, we just found ourselves just finding our perfect, not really perfect, but finding our slot within the organogram of the business.
You flow towards.
Yes. So you find someone say, no, I think you are good at that. So how about you just handle that? So you are good at that. How about you handle that? But it's not like there will never be some interchanging of roles, You find someone who's dedicated to designing. Sometimes he goes out to the meeting. Someone who's dedicated for client relations. He does the design work, because after all, we all have the skill. So, but what is important is to have a structure that holistically it makes the business run well. The production process runs smoothly because there's someone who's attending the client, there's someone who's doing the graphic work, there's someone who's delivering the work or whatsoever.
Beautiful. We're going to pause here for a break and we'll be back with Mr. Tirelo Gilbert.
All right.
You're watching this video. I'm guessing there's some amount of value that you're getting from this video. I'm here to tell you that we have more. We've created a Patreon account. This is a monthly subscription-based model where you'll be investing as little as $5 a month to be able to support our work. And in turn, you will have access to behind the scenes, exclusive content, live shows, and even information on future events. Your investment into us allows us to be able to create more and better content, to be able to push these stories off. It is possible and it can be done. So if that sounds interesting to you, head over to patreon.com/deep dive sessions and become a patron. See you on the inside. Welcome back, everybody. You are here with Mr. Tirelo Gilbert. Now, sir, walk me through the process of as a designer. Usually, when you start, I'm not trying to speak for everybody, but I'm just trying to speak maybe from experience. or from the experience of people close to me, because I'm not really good at design. As you start, you're doing these things, these flyers, you're doing these logos, you're doing these designs, and you a lot of the times maybe you don't have the business acumen.
True.
So talk to me about how it is right now that you're now running the business and also being the creative side of it and the business side of it. How are you able to become Mr. Tirelo, the CEO, the director, while you're also not hemping on your creative side, so to speak?
Yeah. What is important is for you to make sure that you're not just building a brand, but you're also building a business, right? So what am I saying with this? You find yourself that you have the technical background, you're a designer, you're good with your skills and stuff like that, but your skill alone doesn't form the business. You might have a good product, but without the good business, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You might have the right skills,
For sure.
you're a good dancer, but that doesn't pay the bills for you.
Definitely.
Until if you develop a system that you get paid for your dancing. Otherwise, you'll be dancing for entertainment, right? Yeah. So we found ourselves in that similar corner at some point. So that's why I'm saying we had to move around, to move stuff around, to put stuff in place, to learn how to really make a business out of the skill, the design that we have, right? So it takes a lot of mistakes, a lot of wrong decisions. It takes learning. It takes a whole lot of things. Finding someone to advise you. It takes sleepless nights, But after, above all, you need to be willing to learn and see how you can really make business out of what you're doing. So where we started 4 or 5 years back is not where we are right now, because we kept evolving with time, right? When we started, the market was willing to pay this much for a logo. But now things have changed. And we can't rely on that price that we paid back then. When we started, we were comfortable to say we only do this and this and that. But now things are moving. You look at the competition, you look at what people want, you look at what big organizations want, and then you say we have to see how we move stuff around so that we are good candidates to take on such projects. So it took a lot of evolving and moving stuff around, changing business operations, and putting stuff in place so that at the end of the day you can be a profitable business. Yeah.
Beautiful. So you did industrial design.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that, because what you studied versus what you're doing now, and its relevancy to what you're doing now. Because I know it's a pretty tough course. I know I have a number of friends that have done that course, and many of them haven't graduated because it's not that simple. So talk to me about that. The basic education of that course versus what you're doing now. Is what you're learning then directly applying to what you're doing today?
Okay. Industrial design, as per the University of Botswana, is many faceted in the sense that there are a lot of disciplines put in together, right? You have interior design, you have product design, you have multimedia, you have textile, you have branding or brand identity design. What we are doing now, right? Like I said, when we started, we wanted to build a business out of everything that we learned, right? I remember our first profile or our first cover photo on Facebook. We included all these things, package design, interior design, all that. But because of how the market is, and looking at the fact that where you are right now, you don't have what it takes to run a product design business or to put up a manufacturing, some product, So that's when we inclined towards brand identity design, right? It's still part of what we learned, maybe 10% of everything that we learned there. But we made a business out of it because we felt we were more inclined to it, maybe skill-wise, and even where we were at that point in time, it was only possible to start that kind of business. But it doesn't mean that all these other disciplines, we have forgot about them. We still have the desire and the plans to start something of that sort. But like she said earlier, the biggest challenge is always the finances to start. So if you're a graphic designer, you need a PC and you are good to go. But for you to set up a product design firm, you need a lot of things, So that's why we chose that discipline of design. So I would say, to answer your question, a little bit of what we learned in school does apply now. But a whole lot of it we had to learn on the ground. A whole lot of it took some short courses, some YouTube videos, because like I said, running this kind of business is quite a challenge. And you have to learn how to do stuff. You have to learn your market, see what people need, see what people are willing to pay for, and then try to adjust your business to suit them.
Beautiful. So we had Mr. Refilo Nong on the show. I don't know if you know him. He said, and I quote, he said, "I'm not an order taker. I'm your vision partner." Do you experience times where you get a client that wants you to just, I want this blue, and then they want it blue, but you understand that with the eye you have of design, it may look better like this. And how do you deal with that?
Clients can be difficult at times, but it all depends on how you portray yourself to them, right? If you want to be that graphic designer who just comes and then if they say put this blue, you put the blue, then that's fine. But again, if you want to be the guy who makes decisions for the brand, then you can be that, So how we have positioned ourselves over time is we want to be that kind of guy, the guy you would trust completely with your brand, whether it's the choice of color, whether it's the choice of font, whether it's even developing the brand itself. There is a lot that comes in play, but we want to be that guy who you would trust to develop the whole brand manual, your business, without you taking part. But of course, there's going to be where I ask you about your ideas, your vision, and stuff like that before I can build that brand for you, right? But that's where we want to go, and that's where most of the clients that we are dealing with are right now. They understand us to be those kind of guys who you would leave everything to them and they don't make the right decisions as far as your brand is concerned.
Beautiful. Beautiful. We're going to pause here for a break. We'll be back with Mr. Tirelo, Gilbert. Welcome back, everybody. We are here with Mr. Tirelo Gilbert. And if you've found any value in this content so far, make sure to drop a like, comment below on your biggest takeaway, and definitely subscribe to the channel. And just to know all of you guys that have watched all the way up to this point, I want you guys to comment down below with money, and then you put 2 fire emojis. Money, 2 fire emojis. Then we're gonna know who has really watched the episode up to this far. Now, Mr. Gilbert, talk to me about brand identity design. When I come to you as an individual or as a company, where do you start with me?
Brand identity design is a part or an element within the whole brand, right? So you are a business, you want to rebrand for some reason, right? So brand identity design is actually an element within the bigger vision of building a brand, because your brand identity design actually, or your brand identity is your identity, your visual identity as a business. So it's an element within the whole brand as a whole, right? Yeah. So what we do usually with a lot of businesses is they come to us with a vision, right? To say, I have this in mind. I want to build a brand or a business around these. So what we then do is we try to combine all these elements to come up with something that is unique and can be relatable to their business, right? And that's when we start brainstorming on, of course, some of the people come already with a name. That's when we start touching other elements like your visual identity, which is your logo, the application of the identity, the brand manual, how the identity is going to be used on different materials. We touch on your colors, your slogan, your typography, your iconography, and a whole lot of things that has to do with building a brand. Yeah, so that's basically it. And then once all those things are defined, we then package them into what we call a brand manual, which is a visual guide of what the brand is all about and how it's ought to be used on different marketing and print and advertising media. Yeah.
Beautiful. So where do you think we brands usually miss it? Or where do you think is the big disconnect here when someone is trying to grow a brand? You know, we want a brand, you write Hustlepreneur on your T-shirt and then you just sell 10 of them. Nothing is really gaining traction. Where do we miss it most of the times?
I think we miss the most crucial part, which is being the distinctive element or component, which gives you the competitive advantage over everyone else who's around. That's why we can all brand T-shirts and sell them. Your first sales are 10, next month 5, 2, then eventually the brand dies.
Yeah.
Because you don't have anything interesting for your people to talk about. So you end up relying on your immediate friends and family to push your brand, but that's not business. You know, a business should be strong enough to talk to even the people outside your circle. It should be strong enough to attract people from outside your community and as far as outside the borders. Because if it's strong enough, it has that competitive edge or it has that exceptional look, then your market is limitless, really. You won't rely on your immediate friends or anyone in this room to buy your brand, and then that's it.
So a brand should be attached maybe to a story or a vision or a cause, so to speak.
True.
A why.
True.
Okay.
Why should I go for this brand instead of that one? Why should I commit to this instead of that? As beings, we all want to be related or associated to a certain clan,
definitely,
or a certain community, right? That's why you have these guys who hang out together and they dress together. They dress in a similar way and they do stuff in a similar way. That's the community. So your brand also has to have the target audience, the purpose here on it, and the value proposition that it gives to that particular audience, so that you don't have to look for everyone in the room to purchase the brand, but you have to look at a certain type of people who you know are really committed to this kind of lifestyle or this kind of behavior, and you know that they will purchase no matter what. That's why we all have different taste in sneakers. You can buy Nike all day, all night. I can buy Adidas all day, all night, because you know it's more.
That's what speaks to me.
Yeah. So it's more of a personal, intuitive thing within me to say I'll go for this brand rather than the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to know, because this is some of what you do. What is the difference, in your own words, between advertising and marketing?
Advertising and marketing. This one is a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Is there a difference, so to speak?
There is.
Okay.
There is. Marketing is what you do as a long term, but advertising is what you do now.
To push like a product?
Yeah. Advertising, you pay for advertising now to push your new sneakers products, right? But marketing that's why marketing has to have a marketing strategy. This is how we are going to do this over this period of time. We'll be doing 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4 platforms over a period of time, right? But advertising is more of a short-term act or whatever. You do it now and do it at that point in time. So that's the difference between marketing and advertising. So marketing is more like a long-term process of how you want to communicate your brand, where in which areas you want your brand to be heard and stuff like that. Yeah.
Beautiful. So as for you in your business, see, I'm a young guy that's getting into this space and I want to be known and seen, right? How would you, if you were me, how would you go about setting yourself apart? And which platforms would you use to be able to have your work seen and known so that people can start engaging with it?
So first thing first, you need to have a well-defined brand of who you are, what you want to do. It all starts from the strategy, right? And then once you have your corporate strategy, your brand strategy, you move on to your marketing strategy. And all these strategies are based or are formulated from the research findings, right? You look at all the platforms, whether it's your social media, you look at where the audience is saturated, you look at how people are doing stuff on socials and all those things. So those are the things that will definitely guide your strategies, whether it's a marketing strategy or a branding strategy. So if you have a unique brand strategy and you have a well-researched marketing strategy, then you are good to go. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. I'm curious to know what is the part of the job you do that you hate the most?
It has to be making follow-ups on invoices. I hate that. I hate that, bro. I hate that.
How do you actually do that in a way that's not too pushy? Sometimes someone owes you, but you don't understand. Like
I'm still learning on how to do that in a way that is not pushy, because I know I deserve the payment at the end of the day, but people just don't want to listen. So I really hate that.
Because the guy once told me, he told this other guy, million. They don't even follow us up like this. When I am on my phone every day, because sometimes you want to you want clients to treat you, because people treat you. You teach people what to tolerate about you and what not to tolerate. True. So sometimes you're trying to make that, but you also sometimes maybe you need the money.
True, and it's a very painful thing, especially for startups or us SMEs, in the sense that we so much rely on a constant cash flow. You understand? And if my invoice can go 2 months unpaid. Otherwise, it's going to cripple the whole business. You understand? But these guys, they'll say, but those guys can afford to still stand without your payment. But I can't. So because of the nature of my business or the size of my business, so that's why I will always be on your toes to say, pay up, because I really depend on that pay. So I wish people can really understand that, because it really messes up with our finances.
Up the bottom line, All right, so we're going to jump into a section called Rapid Fire.
Okay.
I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. I have them over here so that, I follow them through properly. All right, so number one, what is something you always spend money on? Something that if you see it, you're buying it.
I don't know. What could it really be? I don't know. Something that I always spend money on.
Yeah, like something that you always spend money on.
I'm not much of a spender, honestly. I'm not much of a spender.
Not food, nothing. Sneakers, watches, cologne, whatever.
Nothing.
Really?
I'm not much.
So there's nothing you spend money on?
No.
I'd like to be like you, man. I'd like to be like you, because when I see a burger, man.
I don't just spend money. I always have a budget for that. I always have money set apart for rental, bills, whatnot. I honestly don't just spend money rapidly. Yeah.
All right. So the other one is, Do you have a bucket list? And if you do, what's some of those things on your bucket list?
Man, your questions are tough. Eh? A bucket list in
I think for life.
For life.
I think for life, like generally, things that you want to achieve. And, when you look back maybe 20 years from now, you want to make sure that, I want to skydive.
I only have one thing in my bucket list, and it's a risky one. It's a risky one. I want to... I know I'm gonna sound silly for it. No, I want to travel from Gibbs to F Town in 2 hours driving. That's I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what I have in my bucket list. If I can do that, then
how are you gonna do that though? Let's break it down. I need to get this one.
I just need a powerful machine. That's it.
Which one do you have in mind? Maybe you and I can, if you buy me the car.
I'm more inclined to golf nowadays. I'm thinking maybe an R32 or a 6R. Hopefully.
Can do the things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty dangerous.
Hey, she's dangerous, man. Don't try it.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. All right. The other one is here. One must go. Either your social life, your love life, or your work.
My social life. I don't have any social life. I love my work.
Yeah.
And I love my girlfriend. So
shout out to her.
Yeah. So social life. I don't have any social life, honestly. Yeah.
Okay. That's nice. All right. The other one is which
this is probably
that I'm just gonna go for it, man.
Okay.
But this is in Botswana. The question I'm gonna ask for you is in Botswana. Which celebrity annoys you the most or influence?
No one.
No one.
I love them.
Really?
All. Yeah.
So there's no one who just
No, I don't.
Not really in the sense of you want to put them down. Just that I just wish I wouldn't see your posts.
Everybody's doing their own thing, really. You understand? Everybody's doing their own thing. And I don't look at them with an eye of judgment. I just look at them and say, okay, they're probably trying a hustle or that's who they are. That's their personality. And as much as I wouldn't want to be judged for my personality, then I definitely won't be judging anyone for their personality. Yeah.
Man of God.
Yeah.
All right, man. What is your favorite broke meal?
My favorite meal. Okay.
Broke meal.
It
like the one way
meal.
Like for me, mine is bread, peanut butter, and milk. That's my favorite broke meal.
Okay. That's my favorite broke meal. What could it be then? I don't know, fake cakes and maybe. I don't know if it's that for broke people or.
Hey, but that's a good meal though. That's a good meal.
It is.
That's arguable.
Yeah, but you can really get it at a very affordable offer. $5 for your mkwechepe and one pula for each magwijana.
Magnya fit.
Yeah. Hey,
yeah. All right, man. The last one on rapid fire is, what is the cringiest thing you do?
Now you want to expose me. What is it? I don't know. I think probably people who stay with me or who spend the most time with me would know. But for me, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm perfect.
Yeah.
I probably have some stuff that annoys people while I'm not even aware of it. But I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Yeah. All right, man.
Yeah.
But here, I want to ask you this question. So where do we see Fourth ID going 2, 3, 4 years now?
2, 3,
5 down the line.
Fourth ID is going to be one of the biggest firms ever built in BW.
Yes, sir.
The vision is big, my guy. The vision is big and is slowly getting there. There's going to be a design firm with all these areas that design all in one, right? a massive building, but different departments, whether it's motion design, graphics, brand identity, PR, advertising, all in one. So that's the whole vision.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Before I ask my last question, I want to ask you, are you happy where you are in life, in business, and work?
I am content. I am. Of course, like I said, the vision is big, but I'm patient enough to wait for it. Like I said earlier, we're not even halfway through. And I know all it takes is patience and perseverance, and trusting in God that one day things will happen. So I'm content with where I am, but the vision ahead is massive.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I know I said I was going to ask my last question.
Yeah. Okay.
I need to ask this question, though. Yeah. What is your biggest lesson learned thus far along the journey? It can be in life, in work. What is the biggest lesson that you feel like, you know what, as your life unravels, this is what you have really learned?
I think it's still the same message, man. Just run your race, run your own race. Be patient with what you are doing, love what you are doing, and trust that God will be with you throughout whatever challenge. You know, just be yourself and run your own race in your own lane. Of course, challenges will come. Of course, you will be tempted to look at your opponent on the next lane, but just be content with what you have, and things will eventually fall in place.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
My last question is, how do you want to be remembered as Tirelo Gilbert?
I want to be remembered as the guy who really cared, the guy who impacted lives, the guy who brought change in people's life, the guy who walks into a room and really impact lives. You know, I think I have a very caring heart. I believe I do. Yeah. So I really want to carry that on and be remembered as a guy who has a very caring heart and really cared for the people in general. Yeah.
Beautiful, sir. Beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Tirelo Gilbert. You've just heard about what he said. You've just heard about Fourth ID. You've just heard some of the golden nuggets that he has dropped in this episode. I hope you guys have benefited as much as I have. And I hope you guys have found so much value that you can go out with and impact many other people with. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I've come to the end of this episode. Make sure that you like the video if you like the video, and comment below on your biggest takeaway, and definitely subscribe to the channel for more related content. And without further ado, we'll meet at the same time, same place next week. Be great.